In episode 326, Misty Rain borrowed the document and then sent no further messages. Ye Shu figured he was done. But just a moment later, Misty Rain sent another message.
Holy shit, it's out. Damn, the record's been set.
Huh? Where did it drop?
Ye Shu checked the message log. There was no system announcement. He even pulled up the rankings again. Tyrannical Ambition was still sitting firmly at the top.
The 10th server's up.
Holy crap.
Misty Rain Kangcheng sent a frustrated emoji, and Ye Shu nearly choked. He understood perfectly well. Misty Rain and the others wanted to try and beat the record using the guide, so they didn't want to waste their dungeon attempts on the 10th server. So he had the experts get accounts in other servers first to practice. Misty Rain really pulled off a miracle. The trade with him didn't finish until almost 11. They started the dungeon run at midnight, and in just 1 hour, he managed to gather a team and match them with accounts. That's some serious coordination. Just a shame the luck wasn't on his side. This trial run actually broke the record right out of the gate. If you knew this would happen, why bother with the extra step?
What's the score?
Ye Shu replied, trying hard not to laugh. He could well imagine the regret Misty Rain was feeling right now.
26 minutes, 11 seconds, 45 milliseconds.
Not bad at all. If you bring it over, you'll shock the world. What's the reaction in server 7 right now?
Awarded the got too much time on your hands medal.
Misty Rain replied with a huff of annoyance. In these old servers, plenty of players never made the move to the Heavenly Domain, for all sorts of reasons. Going to the Heavenly Domain isn't mandatory. Staying in the old server offers plenty of content for level 70 players to enjoy. But using a low-level alt to farm low-tier dungeon records, that's just plain pathetic. If you're going to farm records, it should be the 70-level dungeons.
Just bring them back now, to the 10th server.
Who knows if we can pull it off this time?
Your people know how to focus on what matters. I'm sure they'll manage.
Ye Shu was certain that the team who set this record couldn't have followed the guide step by step. No one has the skill to memorize a guide that long word for word in such a short time and then execute it flawlessly. Strategies are rigid, but people are adaptable. The most efficient way to use a guide is to grasp its core principles and understand the theory behind it. The experts from Misty Rain clearly understood this principle. They swiftly grasped the key points of the guide, namely, Ye Shu's major innovations. So they fused Ye Shu's innovations with their own familiar tactics, and sure enough, they shattered the record in the 7th server. For them, there was actually very, very little they could directly copy from the guide.
Ah, let's hope so.
Misty Rain replied, adding a smiley face for good measure. He might sound worried, but he's not actually that concerned. Finding that hidden gem in the guide has filled this kid with confidence. The two who had muted their messages didn't get in touch again. Ye Shu, Su Mucheng, Tang Rou, Chao Yifan, and Baozi continued their dungeon run. His conversations with Concealed Light and Misty Rain were all handled on the fly, multitasking while fighting monsters. Ye Shu didn't push his APM to the limit. He kept a steady rhythm, fighting and chatting without a single pause. We're not going for a record. No need to stress over the dungeon. Tang Rou and Steamed Bun Invasion were both doing targeted drills, while Chao Yifan worked hard to control his Ghostblade, 1-inch Ash. He was training to adapt to every possible combat scenario. By that measure, Ye Shu just looked like a common grinder, only in it for the experience. Ye Shu fought the monsters, his eyes constantly flicking to the message log. Once Tyrannical Ambition's record was posted, the world chat buzzed with some discussion. The major guilds, however, remained silent. The only ones talking were ordinary players who had no stake in the record. Everyone was speculating when Lord Grimm would show up to crush the record and dominate the scoreboard, with some players even opening betting pools on it. The world channel is buzzing with activity, even in the dead of night. Ye Shu thought to himself, their 33-minute dungeon run had been utterly uneventful. Once they were out, they cautiously switched to a different dungeon entrance to go back in. After all, their aggro with the various guilds hadn't cleared yet. Ye Shu checked the time. It was nearly 1 o'clock, right around when the major guilds would be posting their second dungeon run results. But moments later, no system announcement came. Ye Shu later checked the leaderboard. The second and third places had changed, but the 2-minute lead held by Vast Sea, Tyrant remained unshaken. Just then Misty Rain sent another message, reporting their first attempt had failed.
Keep at it.
Yi Xiu could only offer this encouragement. Records are all about avoiding mistakes, but who can predict when a mistake will happen?
It's dropping tonight.
This time, Misty Rain displayed an unusual level of confidence. Yi Xiu figured the kid had more than just one pair of accounts ready to go, with all their dungeon attempts saved up. Tonight, he could probably run it 6, 9, maybe even 12 times. By the time Ye Xiu's team emerged from the dungeon, it was already 1:30 in the morning. If things had gone smoothly for the major guilds, they should have finished all 3 of their dungeon runs by now. Yi Xiu scanned the leaderboard again. Second and third place had indeed been updated. The competition had been fierce all night, but unfortunately, Tyrannical Ambition's record still looked pretty damn solid. Yi Xiu wasn't bothered. He'd fought those 5 from Tyrannical Ambition more than a few times. They were truly top-tier players. As Ye Xiu and his team entered the dungeon for the 3rd time, the world chat lit up with boasts. Players from the major guilds, having cleared the dungeon 3 times, had already hit level 34. They were now congratulating and hyping each other up in the global channel. And after that, the guilds now had a chance to show off and make a name for themselves. The first clear of the Blazing Forest dungeon. Compared to speedrun records, the first clear is more of a consolation prize, a list that's better than nothing. Still, if the guilds have a shot at it, they'll naturally go for it. The members who had already reached level 34 were quickly organized. As soon as the 3 daily runs of the One-Line Canyon dungeon were completed, the entrance nearest the canyon exit was instantly flooded with players. It was clear that many guilds had come prepared. Jiang Yu and his 4 companions should have been part of that crowd. Unfortunately, their team had been wiped out twice by Lord Grimm, costing them a brutal 20% of their experience now. They were left lagging behind. They were still stuck at level 33, watching over the entrance to One-Line Gorge. Still seeing that unbreakable record they'd set, the 5 of them were in pretty high spirits.